Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, the One Piece podcast that's there for the whole journey. We are on chapter 28, Crescent Moon.
And the mask is off. The quiet, unassuming butler is gone.
Gone? Robin, he didn't just leave. He took the identity of Klahadore, the man he's been for 3 years, and he shattered it on the floor like a pair of cheap glasses. The real Captain Kuro is here, and he is terrifying.
The performance is over, and the real show is about to begin. The entire village is the stage.
This is the kind of villain reveal, that slow burn payoff, that makes you need to know what happens next. We've had villains before, sure. Morgan was a tyrant, Buggy was a chaotic clown with a history, but this is different. This is a deep cover operation. 3 years. It just rewrites everything we thought we knew about this arc. If you want to be right here with us for every single reveal from now until the end, make sure our episodes are showing up in your feed. It's the best way to make sure you don't miss the next big moment.
And with that, let's start at the beginning of the end for Syrup Village's piece.
So we open on the coast and the team is assembled. It's Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and Usopp, the would-be Straw Hats and the hometown hero. They've all agreed to fight to protect Kaya and the village from Kuro and his entire crew.
And Usopp is trying so hard to be the brave captain he pretends to be. He's talking a big game about his 8,000 followers who will totally be here any minute, but you can see his knees are literally knocking together. He's terrified.
But that's what makes it so good. That's the core of real bravery, right? It's not about not being scared. It's about being scared out of your mind, but standing there anyway. And he is standing there. He's taking charge, making a plan. He asks the crew what they can do, and the answers are just perfect. Zoro, slicing.
Luffy, stretching.
Nami, stealing. It's so clean. It's their entire character boiled down to one word. At this point in the story, this is who they are. Zoro lives to cut. Luffy's whole world is seen through the lens of what his Gomu Gomu powers can do. And Nami is always looking for the angle, for the profit. That's our crew right there. It's their first real strategy meeting.
It is. They aren't just a collection of individuals who happen to be on the same boat anymore. This is the moment they begin to function as a unit, a combat unit, and they're looking to Usopp for leadership, which is a fascinating dynamic. They believe in him, or at least they're willing to follow his lead, because this is his home. They're putting their trust in the village liar.
And they don't even hesitate. Luffy and Zoro are just like, yeah, okay, what's the plan? They heard his story. They saw how much this means to him, and that was enough.
But then Usopp adds his own skill. After these 3 powerful, direct abilities, he says his skill is hide. And it's played as a joke, his self-deprecation on full display. But is it? A sniper's greatest skill is choosing their position, remaining unseen until the critical moment. He's selling himself short, as he always does, but he's also telling the truth about his tactical role.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's his self-doubt talking, but yeah, you're right. It's technically the perfect skill for a sharpshooter. But man, you can feel the weight on him in this moment. This isn't one of his tall tales to the village kids anymore. This is a real pirate crew, led by a man he trusted, coming to burn down everything he loves. His lies have suddenly collided with a horrific reality.
It's the classic boy who cried wolf scenario, but with a crucial twist. The wolf is real, and he's the only one who knows it's coming, and the people he's trying to save won't believe him. His reputation, the very thing he built to cope with his loneliness, has become his greatest obstacle.
And while he's trying to become a hero on the beach, the monster is waking in the mansion.
This sequence is masterful in its pacing. The scene cuts from the open, wind-swept beach with our heroes to the claustrophobic, quiet halls of Kaya's mansion. The sense of dread is palpable.
Man, this scene, it's so quiet and creepy. We're in the mansion, Kaya's asleep in her bed, totally oblivious, the picture of innocence. And it's Klahadore with Mary, the other main servant, the sheep-horned guy.
And Mary is just talking about Usopp, about the day's events. He's so normal, so blissfully unaware of the danger he is in. He's trying to smooth things over, defending Usopp a little, and he mentions the present for Klahadore. It's their 3rd anniversary of him working there. 3 years to the day.
And the present is a new pair of glasses, custom made so he won't have to keep pushing them up his nose with his palm all the time. Such a thoughtful, specific gift. It's not just some generic present, it's born from 3 years of observation. It shows how much the people in that house, Mary and Kaya, genuinely cared for this man, this persona he built. They saw a minor, persistent annoyance in his life and took it upon themselves to fix it for him.
That detail is what makes what he does next so much more brutal and psychologically chilling. He's not just rejecting a gift. He's rejecting their affection, their trust, their perception of him. He looks out the window at the crescent moon and says it makes him wild. His whole way of speaking changes. The posture, the tone, the act just drops in an instant.
He picks up the brand new glasses that were a gift of trust and friendship, and he just crushes them in his hand, smashes them to pieces. That cracking glass, it's the sound of the character Klahadore dying. And he tells Mary his present will be the mansion itself, Kaya's entire inheritance. It's so cold.
It's the symbolic execution of Klahadore. He's telling us that the man Mary thought he knew for 3 years is dead, and he's the one who killed him. He says he doesn't have to pretend anymore. For 3 years, that little gesture of pushing up his glasses was a character tick, a part of the costume. By crushing the new perfect glasses, he's saying the costume is no longer needed. The performance is done.
And then he pulls them out. Oh man, what an image. From a bag he's carrying, a bag he must have had hidden this whole time, he pulls out his real weapon, the cat claw gloves. 10 blades, 5 on each hand, the cat claws of 100 Plan's Captain Kuro. The last thing Mary sees is this man he trusted turning on him, with blades flashing in the moonlight. It's pure horror.
We've seen those marks before. On Mary's shoulder when he found him wounded earlier in the day, we were meant to think it was a sword or something similar. But no, it was this. This is the weapon. And it raises a question. Kuro didn't need to wound him before. It served no real purpose in his plan. He did it anyway. Just a little taste of what was coming, a preview of the violence.
It confirms everything. He wasn't just planning, he was enjoying it. The cruelty is part of the appeal for him. The whole thing is a game. 3 years of patience, of playing the part of a gentle, caring butler, just for this one night of carnage and theft. That's a different kind of evil than we've seen. Morgan was about brute force and ego. Buggy was about treasure and showmanship. Kuro is about meticulous, cold, patient evil. He's a psychopath.
He's the evil of a planner, someone who enjoys the scheme as much as the result. He's called Kuro of 100 Plans, and this was just one of them, his masterpiece. It speaks to an intellect and a patience that is, frankly, far more dangerous than a simple brute. Which brings us to his crew. A plan is only as good as the people who execute it.
Right, we cut to the Black Cat Pirates ship, the Bazan Black. Awesome name, by the way. And we need Django, the first mate. He's woken up by 2 of the crew, the Miaoban brothers, Siam and Bucci. They tell him it's almost time to go to work.
And the first thing we learn about him is that he's strange. He's lying there asleep with what looks like a mushroom cap growing on his chin because he apparently tried to eat it and fell asleep. Then when he gets up, he walks backwards out of his own cabin.
Such a classic character introduction. It's perfect. You know everything you need to know about his vibe from one little action. This crew is weird. Their captain is this meticulous, cold, long-term planner, and his second in command is a backwards-walking, mushroom-eating hypnotist who looks like a mix of a funk musician and a magician. The contrast is amazing.
It's a crew built on deception and control. Kuro's meticulous plans, Django's hypnotic influence. He apparently has a ring he swings to put people to sleep or make them stronger. The command structure isn't based on respect, like with Shanks, but on absolute and, in Django's case, literal mind control. They aren't just brutes, they're manipulators.
Speaking of plans, we cut back to the coast, and Usopp's grand strategy is in effect. They've poured oil all down the slope leading to the village. The idea is the pirates run up this narrow inlet, they slip and slide on the oil, become easy targets, and the crew picks them off.
It's a classic pincer trap, or more accurately, a funnel trap, forcing the enemy into a disadvantageous position where their numbers count for less. On paper, it's a solid plan for a small force against a large one. It uses the environment to its advantage. It shows how much the people in that house, Mary and Kaya, genuinely cared for this man, this persona he built. They saw a minor, persistent annoyance in his life and took it upon themselves to fix it for him.
It's a real pirate fighting plan. You can see Usopp's mind at work. He's not thinking about a one-on-one duel like Zoro or a head-on charge like Luffy. He's thinking like a commander. He's using the terrain. He's thinking about enemy movements. I love seeing him step up like this. For a moment, you really believe this could work.
The sun rises. We see the four of them hiding behind the rocks, waiting. Everyone is tense, ready for action. We see the pirates on the ship preparing to disembark. The moment is here.
Then we get this super creepy cutaway back at the mansion. Kuro, or Klahadore, whatever he is in this moment, he enters Kaya's room while she's sleeping. He's just standing over her. The dread is just cranking up to 11. What is he going to do? Is he going to kill her now? The tension is unbearable.
And then Django and the pirates land. They arrive at the coastline. They start marching up the slope. The invasion has begun.
But not where our heroes are. They're all there, crouched, waiting, and the pirates are nowhere to be seen. The silence must have been deafening. That slow transition from tense anticipation to, wait a minute, is just brilliant.
Then the horrifying realization dawns on Usopp. He knows this island better than anyone. There isn't just one accessible coastline. There are two, and they are nearly identical. And they are waiting at the wrong one.
Bro, the comedic whiplash is just masterful. The storytelling is genius at this. From this super tense pre-battle moment, a life or death struggle for the fate of a village, to absolute slapstick panic. It builds you up just to pull the rug out from under you in the most hilarious way possible.
And the plan immediately, completely falls apart. It's a perfect storm of failure. Usopp remembers the layout is identical and the other coast is only 3 minutes away. But Nami, ever practical, realizes their boats are parked at that other one. All her treasure from Buggy is on that boat.
And that's her trigger. All thoughts of defending the village fly out the window. It's pure survival mode for her treasure. Luffy, bless his simple heart, immediately starts running because that's what Luffy does. He hears trouble and that way, and he is gone. No questions asked. Nami tries to follow, but her foot hits the oil they just laid down.
She starts to slide, but in a moment of pure, selfish genius, she grabs Zoro's leg and uses him as an anchor to push herself off the oil and get free. It's such a Nami move. It's not even malicious, it's just pure, instinctual pragmatism. I need to go, he is in my way and can be used as leverage, therefore, I will use him.
Leaving him completely stuck in the middle of their own trap. He's just flailing around, screaming that he's gonna kill her. It's so funny, but also so perfectly them. Nami's pragmatism, bordering on ruthlessness when it comes to her money, and Zoro's absolutely abysmal luck and sense of direction. The strongest fighter on the team is taken out by cooking oil.
And now, everyone is scattered. The entire defensive strategy has collapsed before the first pirate has even been sighted. Nami is running for her treasure, Zoro is immobilized, and Luffy has run off in completely the wrong direction and is already back at the village entrance wondering where everyone went.
So the entire defense force is neutralized by their own trap and their own personalities. It's a total unmitigated disaster. It's a domino effect of chaos rooted entirely in who these characters are. The pirates are marching completely unopposed.
Not completely. One person made it. Usopp gets there. He runs as fast as he can, scrambling over the cliffs, and he makes it to the correct coast. He arrives just in time to see the entire Black Cat pirate crew, led by Django, marching towards his home.
And he doesn't hesitate. All the fear, the knocking knees, it's gone. Or maybe it's still there, but it doesn't matter anymore. In this moment, he just acts. He stands up on that cliff, declares himself Captain Usopp, and starts firing his slingshot, taking down pirates one by one with his lead stars. He is standing there, completely alone, holding the line.
It's an incredible image to end the chapter on. The meticulous, years-long plan of Captain Kuro, the genius strategist, is being held at bay, however briefly, by the one person he dismissed as a pathetic, inconsequential liar, the variable he never took seriously.
And the liar's friends, the ones who were supposed to be his great army, the ones he brought in to save the day, one is stuck in oil, one is hopelessly lost, and one is running to save her own skin. It's just Usopp, standing alone against the tide. That's a hero moment right there. Super!
It truly is. The boy who cried pirate is now the only thing standing in their way. All his life he's been telling stories to make himself seem bigger than he is. Now, for the first time, he has the chance to live up to one of them.
What a chapter. The tension, the reveal, the comedy, and the cliffhanger. It's got everything. It sets a new standard for the arcs going forward. This is the One Piece formula being perfected in real time.
This chapter was pure, beautiful chaos. Let us know in the comments who you think had the absolute worst moment here. Zoro getting betrayed by Nami and stuck in oil, Luffy getting hopelessly lost, or Usopp realizing he has to face an entire pirate crew all by himself.
Oh, that's a tough one. My money's on Zoro. At least the other two can move. And Usopp's moment is terrifying, but it's also his chance to be a hero. Zoro's is just embarrassing. Alright, let's get into predictions for Chapter 29. What do you think is coming next?
My first thought is back at the mansion. We left Klahadore entering Kaya's room. The cliffhanger on the beach with Usopp is powerful, but the story loves to juggle its plot lines. I don't think he's going to harm her directly just yet. His plan relies on her signing a will, making him the inheritor. A dead girl can't sign a will. But Mary is down. I predict we'll see the immediate aftermath of Kuro's attack on Mary, establishing just how fast and brutal his cat claws style is. We will see him standing over Mary, a defeated Mary, maybe explaining a piece of his plan, giving us a demonstration of his power before he even faces the Straw Hats.
I like that. A classic villain power scaling moment. Show, don't tell. We need to see why this guy was a feared captain. Okay, my first one is about Zoro. He's not just going to sit there in that oil slick. No way. The strongest member of the crew isn't going to be taken out by a prank. My prediction is he's going to get out in the most Zoro way possible. He's not going to wait for help. He's going to try something that makes no physical sense, like trying to cut the oil, but it'll somehow work because he's just that determined. Or even better, he'll just hold his swords in his hands and mouth and use them to walk his way out, stabbing them into the cliffside like ice picks. It'll be ridiculous, needlessly difficult, and awesome.
That feels incredibly plausible. He'd rather do the impossible than admit he's stuck. My second prediction concerns Nami. She's running to save her treasure, but she's also running right into the Black Cat pirates' point of entry. She'll see the battlefield between Usopp and the pirates, and she'll have a choice. I think she'll get there and see their ship, the Bizon Black, mostly unguarded because the entire crew has disembarked. Her goal will shift from just saving my boat to stealing their entire ship. It fits her opportunism perfectly. She might see Usopp fighting and think the best way to help, and to profit, is to take away their means of escape.
Ooh, a classic Nami heist. I can see it. That's a super Nami move. Alright, my second prediction is for Luffy. He's lost. He's back at the village entrance. He doesn't know where the pirates are. So what does he do when he's lost and looking for a person? He goes to the one place he knows, the giant mansion on the hill where Kaya lives. My prediction is Luffy will completely bypass the fight on the beach. He'll get bored of waiting, wander off, and accidentally stumble right into the confrontation at the mansion between Kuro and Kaya. He's going to fight the main boss before he even sees the minions completely by accident.
The final boss arriving through the wrong door. That is the most Luffy thing I can imagine. It completely disrupts Kuro's perfect, meticulous plan with pure, dumb luck. Kuro has accounted for every eventuality, every detail for 3 years. The one thing he could never account for is a rubber man with no sense of direction and an instinct for finding the most important person in the room.
Exactly. Kuro's planned for everything, except the human typhoon that is Monkey D. Luffy, the unstoppable force of chaos versus the immovable object of planning. It's going to be great. And that's where we'll leave it for this week. Join us next time as we dive into Chapter 29 and see just how Usopp holds the line. Until then, stay super.